Nigeria's unemployment rate rises by 0.8% in the third quarter of 2023. Edo APC governorship aspirant Namero Dekeri storms APC National Secretariat, meets Ganduje. FG begins payment of ASU's 8-month withheld salaries. Let's take stories outside Nigeria. In Senegal, candidates are calling for a vote within 6 weeks. Rwanda faults U.S. criticism over DR Congo violence. Those are the headlines we're monitoring at this hour. Well, tonight on Politics HQ. Politics in Nigeria is the gift that keeps giving. And in Edo State, we have more drama to keep us busy till the next one. 3 different winners were announced, or candidates were announced as winner of the APC governorship primaries. We will attempt to unpack all of this tonight with our correspondent already on the ground in Benin City. Also tonight, Oluchi Oparah may have been suspended as the national treasurer of the Labour Party, Nigeria's opposition party, but she hasn't suspended her rhetoric. She's been alleging that the party has been involved in some financial misappropriation. She joins us tonight for a conversation on those allegations leveled against the party chairman. I'm Kofi Bartels. Politics HQ starts now. The Labour Party, Nigeria's opposition party, has taken disciplinary action against its national treasurer, Oluchi Oparah, by imposing a 6-month suspension on her. This decision follows a recent dispute between Oparah and Julius Abure, the party's national chairman. What is this all about? It's regarding the handling of the party's finances, including campaign funds, which she alleges amount to 3.5 billion naira. Well, the suspension of Oparah was announced by the party's National Working Committee during a press conference last week at the party's headquarters in Abuja. This development arises in the midst of Oparah's very public allegations against Julius Abure. Oparah had specifically called out Abure, demanding transparency and accountability concerning a certain 3.5 billion naira allegedly raised from the party's nomination forms and fundraising initiatives leading up to the February 2023 general elections and afterwards. Well, tonight, we're glad to have the woman herself, Oluchi Oparah, National Treasurer of Nigeria's Labour Party, albeit suspended. Ms. Oparah, good evening to you. Thank you so very kindly for your time tonight.
Good evening to you. Good evening, Nigeria. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Can you provide more details about this alleged 3.5 billion campaign funds and how they were raised? What's the source of your information, and just give us a breakdown of how you came about this amount of 3.5 billion naira.
Thank you very much. Like I told Nigerians that I don't have access to receiving notifications from the bank. But again, common arithmetic, if funds are to be sold for 1,000 naira, for instance, and 30 people are to obtain those funds, 1,000 naira times 30, is that not 30,000 naira? That's how I've come about this figure. Sometimes last year, the national chairman, Barrister Julius Abure, came to me with a audit report for me to endorse my signature as national treasurer. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. Then, what we had on the audit report was 2.1 billion naira. Then we had an off-cycle elections in Imo, Kogi, Bayelsa. There we realized the total sum of 958 million naira. We had reruns in some states like Ebonyi and others. We got over 30 million naira. Then this Edo, we've gotten over 200 million naira. That makes up the sum that I'm alleging that the national chairman has stolen, but has embezzled. Not only that, he also went on a US tour, August last year, in the name of the party, to raise funds for the party. Upon his return, I have asked National Chairman, Dr. Julius Oparah, what's up with this fund? Not even a single cent came to the National Party's account. I've been asking him questions, and I've written letters to him for him to be able to bring the money so that we can at least see what is able to realize. And I am sure, on good authority, that National Chairman raised over $100,000 from that tour. So where is the money? And Julius Oparah, instead of him to answer the allegations, what he did was to suspend me so as to cover his tracks. Who does that? And the end of this of Labour Party deemed it fit to cover that track when they're supposed to be shouting that corruption should be exposed, and they deemed it fit to cover their tracks. That is not acceptable by me. That is so wrong. Why were they so much in a haste to cover their tracks? Why not set up a committee to discipline the Julius Oparah to look into the allegations that are raised, because they are way too wide for someone to just want to conceal.
Okay, so you're saying that Oparah came to you in September or October last year, asking you to sign audited party accounts. This is because you're the treasurer of the party. And the amount was 1.2 billion naira. Now, 1.2 billion naira, that leaves...
1.2. I didn't say 1.2.
Okay, how much was on that?
2 point something.
Okay, 2.1, sorry, 2.1 billion naira. And now you say you added 958 million naira raised from the sale of forms for the Kogi, Igbo, and Bayelsa off-cycle elections, as well as donations for those elections. And then you're saying for the rerun elections, you added 30 million naira. So you're also talking about, so that amounts to the 3.5 billion naira you're talking about. You're also talking about donations that were made during the tour. Now, Oparah has been on record, he's been on national TV to say that he gave 700 million naira to the campaign council of the party. Maybe that's the US money you're asking for, the tickets that were sold and all that, donations that came in, maybe crowdfunding and all that. So isn't that already accounted for?
If Oparah is actually accurate, if he's telling Nigerians the truth, what stops him from allowing an independent auditor to audit the accounts? What stops him? Okay, let's assume that we are arguing, we are going back and forth. There are discrepancies here and there. The right thing in a sane environment, oh, Treasurer, you're not agreeing with me. Okay, get your auditor, let us audit this account. And I've written for somebody else to look into this account, but Comrade Julius Oparah has vehemently refused. Even as I speak to you now, all the thing he's been doing now is to make sure that those accounts are not investigated. Thankfully, I've gone to court. I've asked the court to make EFCC to investigate those accounts so that Nigerians will see the man who Oparah truly is. Oparah has used Labour Party money to acquire properties here and there, home and abroad. Before now, Oparah was worth nothing, but all of a sudden, within 1 year, he was able to use Labour Party money to build houses for himself.
This Oluchi Oparah, yeah, these allegations that are unsubstantiated, we have no way of verifying them. But what is the source of your information? You seem to be so aware of the financial happenings in the party, but you're still saying, on the other hand, that you have no access to the party account or to the records or to the alert on the party account. You also have information on Oparah's personal life as to what house he's building, you know, and how much he has in his account. What's the source of your information? How do you know, since you're saying you've not been allowed to do your job?
The walls have ears. Nothing is hidden under the sun. Like I said, if forms are to be sold for 1,000 naira, for instance, and 30 persons got forms and got screened, it's a common arithmetic. You do your plus and minuses, you will now be able to arrive at the figures you're looking at. I want to also tell us here that the 2023 nomination fees from Edo State never got to the party's account. It went into Julius Oparah's account, to his brother's account, to his wife's account.
How do you know?
Let him come and prove it.
How do you know?
I said the walls have ears. These are open secrets. These are open secrets.
But you're not telling us how you know. You know, you're being a bit general. When you say the walls have ears, we can't hold on to anything. So tell us specifically how you got to know that the monies from the Edo State sale of farms went to Abure's personal account?
I've carried my investigation properly, okay? Because the money from Edo, Comrade Abure had one deal that he did, okay? In the course of this back and forth, I was able to make my investigation, and I found out that those monies did not get to the party's account.
Do you have evidence? Do you have evidence, Oluchi? Do you have evidence, or did someone just tell you with their mouth? Did you have evidence? Hard evidence?
My evidence are for the EFCC to probe the account and check the monies that went into Abure's private account, check the monies that went into his wife's account, the one that went to his brother's account.
Yeah, no. I'm saying now you're asking the EFCC to check to see if what you're saying is true. Is it that you're not sure? You don't have evidence that the Edo State money from the Edo State sale of farms went to Abure's private account? You want the EFCC to check for you to be sure, or are you sure? If you're sure, where's your evidence?
I am sure those monies never hit the account of Labour Party. And I don't think it would be wise for me to start exposing, but so I'm also, you don't expect me to tell the world my source of information. I've been able to dig deep into this. That is why I can speak boldly on this, to tell the world that Julius Abure is not the man he appears to be.
Okay, we want to stress that we've reached out to Julius Abure himself since last week. We also today reached out to Obiora for the publicity secretary of Labour Party, and Oluchi, you're laughing, and they have not honored our invitation. So we'll try to reach out to them so that we can also give them a right of reply. But you are a co-signatory to the account. And Abure has told us that some months ago, even during the campaign, you were signing checks along with him, and it's presented evidence. Apart from you, the party's constitution says that the secretary of the party can also co-sign accounts. So if you were signing accounts last year, how can you claim the party's secretary is also empowered to sign accounts? Then maybe we need to ask you why you're complaining.
As a treasurer of a firm, of a company, of any way, before money leaves the account, the wise thing, the right thing for them to do is to at least let me know that monies are leaving the account. And I've told Nigerians that Comrade Julius Abure forged the late national chairman's signature to collect money from an account that has remained dormant. And I've written for that account to be reactivated. So if you could do that to a dead man, who knows? And the checks is parading. I saw him on Arise. He was waving. He could not even put it out there for people to see what he's talking about. For the past 7 months, my brother, I have not touched any check. I've not signed a single check.
So the checks are meant to. Yeah, but if he's asking the party secretary to co-sign those checks, is he breaking any law as far as the party constitution is concerned?
I think that's the reason why the FCC has to look to even be sure if the secretary actually signed the checks.
Has the secretary denied that he come out to deny Abure's statement that he co-signed the checks? Or she?
I didn't hear that, sorry.
Has the secretary come out to deny Abure's claim that he or she co-signed the checks?
That is why the investigations must be carried out to the latter.
All right.
Yes.
You've been accused of also having your hands muddled in some financial misappropriation. We hear a panel was set up to investigate you, and you were found culpable. I know you're going to say that, well, you don't want to speak about the dead, but you also accused Abure when it came to the dead. So defend yourself, Oluchi Oparah.
Yes, the dead is dead, okay. But I want to state here, I want Nigerians to listen to me and hear me out. This thing they're talking about was in 2015. And if I was indicted, why wasn't I treated like in that light? I wasn't treated like that. That to show you the lengths they can go to malign, to spoil people's image, to pass false information. Since 2029, I also got re-elected for the same position. If I was indicted and I got re-elected, Nigerians, no people should also judge this matter now. They're lying. They're lying to Nigerians because they want to cover the track. The track is Abure. You thought that you know forge. Abure, did you?
Yeah, but Julius Abure has said. Yeah, Julius Abure has said that he's written to all the banks asking them to give you unfettered access to any of the information you want to get from the accounts. Have you approached any of the banks to try and get information from them to verify what was on that audit report, rather, that he asked you to sign?
Who did he write to? Who did he tell that he has written? If Julius Abure has given me access to the accounts, I'm not a mad woman. I wouldn't come out telling Nigerians what is happening.
No, but he says he has written to the banks telling them to give you unfettered access, and that information is available to you.
That means you only did that today or yesterday. He has never done that. If you had done that, Nigerians, I won't be out here speaking on this issue. This issue has lingered for the past 7 months. A child of 7 months should be walking or crawling by now. 7 months.
So why did it take you 7 months? Because you told me at some other forum that you signed some checks last year. So I mean, if you had been signing checks during the period of the election, you signed checks during the period of the election, you had access to the financial happenings of the party, even after the elections. You told me that's about 7 months ago is the last time you signed checks. So how can you then claim not to know what was going on? But I'll ask you, I'll plead with you, you stay and hold your thought while we go for a commercial break. When we come back, you just tell us your answer. And for those of you listening or watching from wherever you are, please stay with us. All right, welcome back. We're still speaking with Oluchi Oparah, the suspended National Treasurer of the Labour Party, one of Nigeria's opposition parties, leading opposition parties. She is accused of the party's national chairman, Julius Abure, of misappropriation, financial misappropriation that is to the tune of 3.5 billion naira. And she joins us via video link from Abuja. Oluchi, thanks for your time. And before we end the break, I was asking you quickly for your, your thought, your view, your response to the point that you've been signing checks up until the elections and after the elections. So how can you claim to not know about financial happenings in the party?
Thank you very much. If I signed a check of 100,000, 100,000, 1 million, how does that equate to the amount we are looking for? For goodness sake, His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi has been in the party for just 1 year plus, and I have not even done my work up to 1 year. And again, the money we are looking for is much. You don't say because I've signed 100,000, 1 million naira worth of check, that we should not throw away the main allegation of 3.5 billion. It's not over when you add up the US tour.
Okay, so this US tour, he said the money was given to the campaign, 700 million naira. He's still talking about it.
Julius Abure can tell the world what he wants to tell the world. He's only trying to cover himself. He's only trying to buy the people's sympathy. I am sure, and I have also tried to tender documents to prove that those monies were meant for Labour Party and not for the campaign. Whatever money I'm talking about here is about Labour Party. I do not have authority whatsoever to speak on what happens to campaign money. I'm not a secretary to that account. I don't even know the account number for campaign. I'm talking about Labour Party money.
Okay.
And he went to US to get money for your Labour Party. He never tendered any cent for us.
All right. We have to bring him into this to respond. But how do you respond to the party's decision to suspend you for 6 months? Do you think it was justified? They invited you to a disciplinary hearing and you didn't turn up.
Yes, let me ask you. Someone is alleging someone, okay? The right thing in a sane environment, if they're not trying to have a foul play, to cover their tracks, the right person that would have faced that disciplinary committee would have been the chairman, because he's been embezzled, he's been accused here and there. Mr. A is talking about his forgery, B, forgery, C, for one person. No, let me tell Nigerians here, because they have come to light to Nigerians, that I was invited. That day, they summoned themselves in Abuja. They never cared to call me. After their meetings, they sent me and they sent a general message on the platform asking me that summoning me to appear before a disciplinary action committee, rather, before then by 10 a.m. of the next day. For goodness sake, they didn't know where I was. And they say, law-abiding citizen of the party. I replied them on that same platform, telling them, okay, that I am not in Abuja, right? But the thing is this, I'm going to be around for that same day that my flight was due to arrive Abuja for 2:30 of that same day, that I was going to be with them by 4. Why were they so much in a hurry? Before 12 o'clock, they had already gone to announce, and I'm particularly disappointed at the Deputy National Chairman of our party, Ladi Ilya, Olufemi of TUC, the legal advisor, Pastor June, because he was there, and that impunity was done on me, on my person. Couldn't he have advised Abure if he was making a mistake to at least give room for a fair hearing? When he was asked,
so you're saying you were out of town, and you couldn't get back on time for the disciplinary.
And I replied them on that platform. I said to them, maybe I should just read out my message to them.
Okay,
I replied them on the platform telling them that they should extend from that 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. because I was not around, and my flight was due to arrive Abuja for 2:30 p.m. that same day. And they were so much in a hurry because they wanted the truck to be covered. Why are they covering what is as like this wrong, kind of ill? Well, they're covering it.
Okay.
What in particular is always out there saying that things are not done right way. Now, corruption is eating deep in.
So you were saying you were not given a fair hearing by the party. You were not given a chance to defend yourself before.
I wasn't given a chance.
Okay. The decision to have this disciplinary committee investigate you, how was it arrived at? What is the party's procedure to decide to investigate any member of the National Executive Council, in such a manner?
If someone has erred, okay, the right thing to do would be to give that person a fair hearing. In fact, I was reliably told that meeting they called themselves to Abuja that same day, that the arrangement they had was for them to suspend me that night. But 1 or 2 persons said, no, it would be wise to invite this woman. Let's even hear from her. Then the next thing they did, they sent it on the platform, and I responded to them that I was to be with them by 4 p.m. because I was not in Abuja. How was I supposed to fly into Abuja? Am I a witch? I'm not a witch. I don't even have wings to fly.
Okay.
I thought I was going to be with them. The next thing they did was to go and suspend me to cover their tracks. That thing is not standing because it is not binding on me.
So you're saying the disciplinary committee didn't investigate anything? They didn't make any findings right to you? Nothing. Just that same day they suspended. But before a disciplinary committee sits in such a manner, how is it considered? Does the NWC or the NEC or the party have to sit down and then go through a process to decide to raise a disciplinary committee to investigate one of the officials?
By the way, no NWC has any right to suspend a fellow NWC. I was elected. If you go to the NWC member, it's me, national chairman, the NOS. It's just about 3 of us that got elected. Others are on appointment by Abure. So they are doing what we want them to do. The right thing would have been for them to recommend, then the NEC will now look into it. That's after a fair hearing has been given. I have thought that in a sane environment, they would have investigated this matter that I've raised to the public before doing anything. But they went on air to make a mess of themselves, of the party.
All right. Oluchi Oparah, what do you hope to achieve by, publicly raising these allegations against your national chairman? And demand accountability for the party's finances. Some people have said, such matters is better to handle them in-house.
I hope to get rid of impunity, corruption, because I have tried to write. I've written for 7 months. We have held meetings because of this for more than 4 or 5 times. And unfortunately, nothing has come out of it. And the next thing Abure wanted to do was to suspend me. What he did on that Friday of that meeting, he handpicked some people to look into the matter. And I said, no, if you want this matter to be looked into properly, please, I want an auditor to look into this matter. Then the next thing I pray, because each time he raises committee, The next thing will be for the person to be suspended. So
What I'm saying would it have been better for you to, because of the impact on the image of and the stability of Labour Party, looking at how the party has faced attacks from left, right, and center? You were all aware of what happened with Lamidi Papa and his group. Would it have been better to try and do this in-house so that the party is not destroyed, looking at the role it's played in the last election? Just want to know.
My brother, it is not about the Labour Party. Labour Party is an institution on its own. It is about the driver, who is Abure, Comrade Abure. I have tried to do this thing in-house, and they have also tried to cover their track by trying to suspend me unjustly. And whosoever gets suspended, the issue does not get investigated. I have to also let the world know that I hate impunity, corruption whatsoever. I cannot be part of impunity or corruption. If you are saying you are condemning impunity, condemn it with everything in totality. Abure shouldn't be coming out to paint a picture of him being a good person, whereas on the other side, is not what he preaches to be.
And you don't think this will affect the party negatively?
It shouldn't affect the party negatively, honestly. It's also a way of trying to let the world know that we don't also tolerate injustice, tolerate corruption. It's a way of trying to also purge the party of every element of corruption.
Okay, for last question, because we're out of time, just a final one. Okay, I'm told we're out of time, and we have to pull the plugs at this point. Oluchi Oparah, thank you so very kindly for your time, and I hope to talk to you again.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much for your time. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll continue our conversations. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Saturday's All Progressives Congress governorship primary in Edo State descended into chaos with 3 separate individuals declared as winner. The situation has cast a shadow over the party's internal democratic process, and it's raised concerns about potential manipulation. Governor Hope Uzodimma of Imo State, who chaired the primary election committee he was appointed by the party, declared the House of Representatives member Dennis Idahosa the winner with 40,453 votes. However, conflicting results emerged that same night when another returning officer, Stanley Ubaja, announced Monday Okpebolo as winner with 12,145 votes. And this was done, we hear, at the residence of Pastor Osagi Ezeyamu, one of the aspirants who had earlier written a letter of withdrawal a day before the election. Now, adding to the confusion when we thought that was all, the local government returning officers of the party in that primary, led by Ojo Babatunde, declared Juan Anamero Dekeri as the winner of the primary with 25,384 votes. Now, amidst this disarray, the APC National Chairman, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje, preemptively, it has been alleged, they used that word, congratulated Idahosa for securing the party's governorship flag bearership, and this move further inflamed tensions with aggrieved APC stakeholders led by Emmanuel Godwin, accusing Hope Uzodimma of prematurely declaring a winner before the collation was completed. They have rejected the result, these APC stakeholders, and appealing to President Bola Tinubu to disregard that election result, and indeed to the party chairman, Abdullahi Ganduje. We're joined tonight live from the Edo State capital, Benin City, by Bernard Akere, who's News Central's correspondent. Also, we have joining us via video link, John Pedro Obaseki, is a public affairs analyst, also joining us from Edo State. And in the studio, we have head of News Central Television, Mr. Ozana Onoye. Gentlemen, thank you so very kindly for your time tonight.
Pleasure.
Bernard, let's start with you. I hope you're feeling better because you were attacked in that one of the primaries that was held, this one at Lushville Hotels and Suites in a tiny bar, like you described it, and you painfully, but you told us what happened there. How are you right now? That's the first question. Second question, we hear for some quarters that it was the Uzodimma primary or collation that was attacked by thugs, and they then had to relocate to Protea Hotels. What do you know of that, and how true is that?
To answer the first question, yes, thankfully I'm feeling much better. I hope, other journalists who possibly were attacked that day are feeling as good as I am, or even better. It's not a good experience to recount, even though it seems that the people there who carried out this act on us claimed that they had their reasons. That's one. Now, secondly, talking about, the faction that was attacked and then later had to move, saying that it was Hope Uzodimma's group. I don't know how to put that, because basically, here's what I think I can make out from the whole thing, right? And I'll briefly recount what happened. Journalists got information that the collation and announcement of results was going to take place at the Lushville Hotel. We got there, it was a very tiny space, and for me, that was the first red flag. I didn't think that the APC would use such a place. And then when it started, after 9 results were mentioned, 7 had been won, by one person, another 2 by another person, and then, the police commissioner came, then the people who disrupted the activities came, and we all had to flee, for safety. Until later, we heard that the announcement was going to be done at the Protea Hotel, and that's where the journalists who were available to now go there went, and that's where Hope Uzodimma was making his announcement. So I think that information may be wrong. I don't think that it was Hope Uzodimma's announcement venue that was attacked. As a matter of fact, it wasn't, to the best of my knowledge. Hope Uzodimma never arrived at that venue. We never even knew that he was going to come to that venue, so I doubt if he was there. The venue where he cheered, so to speak, was the Protea Hotel venue, and that is where the winner was announced eventually.
All right, I'll come back to you, Bernard. Do we have John Pedro Batsky with us? All right, we'll come back to him when we do have it. Ozonon here, you've been monitoring these elections, and of course on Saturday you were here with us in the office trying to, piece together what's happening. From what you've gathered, what factors contributed to the conflicting results we've seen in the Edo primary? I mean, I'm asking myself, who were they getting the results from? If we had 3 different collation centers, what results were they reading out?
Well, one of the factors is the greed, the impunity. I mean, I would do it and nothing will happen, and at the end of the day, nothing really happens. That's what is behind all of this. Politicians have mastered the act and the craft of distorting processes to their own advantage, or what they think to be their advantage, because at the end of the day, some of these things have a way of backfiring and hitting back at the right spot sometimes. Yeah, not all the time, because if it is a perfect situation, some of the people we have around, even some of the people supervising the collation processes, wouldn't be there because they wouldn't have been governors in the first instance. So there are lots of impunity going on in the system, particularly around the political process and among politicians themselves. That is what I think is going on, that is behind this primarily. Now, the fact that it must be my way, I mean, is also a big factor there in Edo State, just like any other state in Nigeria where such process is going on. Some individuals will take unto themselves to be the Lord and Master, except what they approve of. Except that they approve of, nothing else happens. And so it sometimes brings everyone on their knees until some kind of resolutions are found, if possibly. If not, everybody goes down the drain and they don't care.
I don't know if the party is going to go down the drain this time. But back to you, Bernard. Hope Uzodimma was announced, appointed as the returning officer or the chairman of that state primary election committee. But we've seen people like Stanley Uboaja announcing results. We're seeing people like Ojoba Watunde announcing results. On what authority are these other individuals doing these announcements? And how do you view this in terms of the credibility of the results that they have announced?
Uzona said earlier that it's looking like a thing of impunity, where people have done this before. They've announced things. They've gone against party practices gone against legal practices, so to speak, even national practices, and nothing has happened. And that's why these things can be done again. Like you clearly stated, these two gentlemen announced figures, announced results. I don't know where they manufacture these figures and results from, you know, and they just came on air and began to announce. As a matter of fact, it's even more dramatic. When we got to that Lodgeville hotel, why it looked so believable was because, first of all, they had police presence at the front of the gate. So getting there, it would look like, you know, a normal, proper collation and announcement center. We got inside. Of course, the venue was very small, the bar, but then there was a banner behind the desk, like you saw on Saturday while we were broadcasting live, and the banner read "State Governorship Primaries Results," and they were announcing there. There was a table where we all put our microphones. There were people, returning officers, coming from different local governments, calling out results. It looked, if I use the word deceiving, it looked very deceiving. First of all, I don't know where those returning officers were coming from. I don't know where the results they were reading out were coming from. We don't even know who the police officers were. Well, some people say in Nigeria, you know, you can get police security, you know, so they got police officers there. But everything looked so well orchestrated, looked so well in place. And I think that's another disturbing fact, if you ask me, that if persons who are not authorized to do those things can put them in place, orchestrate that particular process so properly, so well, and make it look so believable, then I think we should be scared. We should really be scared, because it looked so good. Again, we don't know where those people came from. We don't know who they are. We don't know where they manufactured those figures from. But to think that it was not just one faction that did that, but two factions manufacturing results, you know, and then airing those results for the entire nation and the entire world to see. There clearly is a problem.
Were you the one that was, obviously, I think yours should be the one led by Ojo Babatunde, one of the local government returning officers, if I'm not mistaken.
No, not Ojo Babatunde. Not Ojo Babatunde.
Was it the one of the one that announced, the one of Stanley Oboja, who announced Okpebolo as winner?
Yes, that announced Monday. Yes, that's the one I was.
That ended up completing in
9 results,
yeah,
and then Monday had won 7.
Okay, and they moved over to Izayamu's residence. That's the one. So let me go back to Uzonano here.
Yes. They eventually, so we heard, they moved over to his residence.
Uzonano, what do you make of the situation? Are we talking about a case of the grassroots refusing to be arm twisted by the center? We see the speed with which the national chairman congratulated one of the winners. We all know Edo State, and they're known to be sort of Winogogri people, you know. So what do you see at play here? Are we seeing maybe the grassroots refusing to be arm twisted and deciding we will do this thing and come up with a real result? Or you think it's just more confusion of people who want to, you know, win at all costs?
The grassroots has no place in this. The grassroots is completely isolated from this. The people that are orchestrating this are still those few people that are holding the country's polity at the jugular. Those are the people behind this, not the grassroots. But what they have succeeded in doing is laying a foundation for litigation, laying a foundation for whatever that happens at the end of the day to be challenged in the court, claiming that whoever that emerges as the candidate did not emerge through the right process. I mean, that's the only thing they will succeed in doing, because the Electoral Act is clear on who will present the candidate of the party in a governorship election to INEC. It is the national chairman of the party and not anyone else. Not anybody that was appointed by anybody, but the national chairman of the party.
So which result do we go with?
So as it is right now, whoever that the national chairman of the party recognizes is the person that would be presented to INEC as the governorship candidate. Whatever anybody else is doing, some people that were, you know, laying siege at the state secretariat of the party, the presentation will not be done at the state secretariat. It will be done at the national headquarters of INEC in Abuja. So it's just a waste of time and a distraction and demonstration of the I'm trying to be very decent with words so that I wouldn't use...
Just a quick one before we go. What are the implications, you think, of this confusion for the APC's chances, in the forthcoming state governorship election?
Between now and when the election will be conducted, they have, which is September, they have time to reconcile and move, in one direction. However, if they fail to reconcile properly, we will wait to see what PDP will do on either Wednesday or Thursday, and then Labour Party also have their own on Wednesday or Thursday. When we look at all of that, plus what APC had done or failed to have done, we'll be able to know the direction it's going to go. However, if they fail to do the right things, other parties will take advantage of them.
Well, we'll be here for it, of course, to see what unfolds in this dramatic episode of Edo State politics. In Benin City, the Edo State capital, Bernard Akede, News Central's correspondent. Thank you so very kindly, and do stay safe, Bernard. And of course, right here in the studio, News Central TV in Ikeja, Lagos, Uzona Onoye, head of news, News Central Television. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
My name is Kofi Bartels. That's the size of our package. We'll be back with more conversations on the drama that is Nigeria politics tomorrow, right here. Same time. Make it a day. Good night.